Hello, everyone, and welcome to Intrusive Thoughts. Also, welcome back to Intrusive Thoughts if you've been here before. I'm your intrusive thought leader, Adam Rippon. And it's good to have you back. It's good to have you here. To kick off the show, I need to publicly, and in this public setting, I need to go after a corporation. And I really do need to do this publicly because seemingly I can't settle this issue privately. And so now I need to take it to the public. And the company that I need to call out today is Royal Caribbean Cruises. Yeah. I've had just about enough of your emails. You guys have got to stop emailing me. I'm begging you at this point. I have unsubscribed to your emails about 1 million times, and I get them now into multiple different email accounts because, yeah, I have multiple different email accounts. Who doesn't in this day and age, right? I'm still rocking with an @AIM.com with one of those emails. That's right, @AOLinstantmessenger.com. Not even AOL. That's not my primary one, okay? That's just one that has kind of stood the test of time, right? It just kind of followed its way into the present day of my life. And maybe that's on me, right? Maybe that's on me, and maybe that's why Royal Caribbean is emailing me non-fucking stop. When I say non-stop, I mean at least once or twice a day. I can guarantee you guys, I'm not going on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I don't even care if I have the email in front of me. California Vibes, last chance mega sale from $199. I don't care. I'm not going on a cruise with you, with anyone. Have I been on a cruise is a completely different story. I have. I've been on 2 cruises, actually, and they were with celebrity cruises. And I was on that cruise because I did get hired to host a Pride night on the cruise. Okay, so I didn't pay for that cruise. I was paid to be on the cruise. Yeah, I'm bragging a little bit until I will tell you what I discovered about cruises, and that it's interesting. You know, you really need to think of it as a floating island. All right? It's a floating island where it's all the same people, and you don't really realize that until when you're on the cruise, you get your first dinner and it's great. And then the next day you go, I'm going to try a different restaurant. You try a different restaurant. And it's good, but the food is similar to what was at the first restaurant. Then you go to the breakfast buffet, and then you realize that the food at the breakfast buffet is just what you had at the restaurant last night and then also the night before. And it's this vicious cycle. And then you start to realize that the person who was the maitre d', the host, the server at the first restaurant is now the piano player at the jazz bar, because there's a jazz bar there too. And it just, it's this pool of people. And then you start to think about it. Of course, it makes sense. They can only have so many employees on the ship, so they're all doing a little bit of everything. It breaks the facade a little bit. I will tell you that. Where did the cruises go that I was on? Well, I did the famous ride from New Jersey to Bermuda, and then I got off, right? Flew home. I was only on that ship about 3 days. Enough to get unlimited amounts of pizza, that's for sure. And then the next cruise, that was a little bit more lavish. That was from Barcelona to Rome. And that was, throughout Europe. That was a beautiful cruise. A new ship for celebrity. The X. Now, for somebody who says they'll never cruise, I am sort of dropping a lot of cruise lingo, like the ship. That's a big thing. You can't it's not a boat, it's a ship. And they're very strict. They're big sticklers on it being a ship and not a boat. That's something, if you do go, listen, if you decide to take up this Royal Caribbean California Vibes last chance mega sale, if that's for you, just know that when you get on there, it's a ship, it's not a boat, okay? But yeah, another public plea. I'm just going to say it one more time. I'm not interested. Please stop emailing me. I don't care if you put the palm tree emoji in the subject line. You do it every day. I am sick of it. I don't want to hear from it. I'm going down right here. I have it right in front of me. Where else do they go? Freedom of the Seas. Yeah, I don't think so. Utopia of the Seas. You guys, please stop. Please. I'm begging you. Oh, hold on. The plot thickens. The Royal Caribbean group. Here we go. I'm an idiot. But at least I found out I'm an idiot with everyone, okay? Now I know why I'm on this list. Royal Caribbean owns Celebrity Cruises, which I just found out right now in this second. That's all making sense. So yeah, Royal Caribbean, I have been on your ships. They are nice. The X, I have been on the X. That's a nice ship, not a boat. I take it back. But please, I don't need these emails. Is there a way to unsubscribe again? Update email preferences. I'll get to it. I'm in the middle of a show. Come on, you guys. Please be professional. Well, now that I have that off of my chest, let's continue. I want to talk a little bit about a few things that we've seen online that have been in the news, so on, so forth. Obviously, Jimmy Kimmel, he was taken off the air by the FCC, and, you know, the Sinclair syndication back on the air. Kind of scary time, you guys, for First Amendment rights. I'm just going to put that out there. Not really liking the feeling of that. Moving on. Right, because what can be said if it's already been said, and to be honest, I'm still sort of feeling the jolt of learning that Royal Caribbean is kind of monopolizing the cruise industry. Troubling on all fronts. Something I've seen, a lot of statues of Donald Trump. Ugh. Can we please not? We need to stop. You know, even if some of them I'm like, yeah, stick it to them. You know, because recently there's this statue that popped up and it's of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein holding hands. Okay, obviously a political statement of, hey, these guys were buddies, by the way. Another statue is the gold statue of Donald Trump holding a Bitcoin. Oh. Please, everyone, I'm needing you all to be serious. I really need everybody to get serious for a moment because we just don't need rubbish like this out there. Donald Trump holding a Bitcoin? Also, Bitcoin. Can we please not? I don't think we need it. Every time I think of Bitcoin, I think of people going, well, I mine Bitcoin. What? No, you just like run the power on your computer nonstop. That's what you do. You're not mining anything. You're not doing anything. You're just running up the electricity bill. It feels like it's only for things that are illegal, right? I think we have to get on the same page on this, that's what Bitcoin exists for, right? There's no like paper trail. We got to cut it out with the Bitcoin. It doesn't exist. It's not a real coin. How about we do real coin, real money? Which also always makes me, without fail, always makes me think of NFTs. Do you guys remember NFTs? They were going to take over. And luckily, because I never fell for it. You know, the people who fell for NFTs, they are currently, undergoing religious psychosis. Like, those are the people who are like, yeah, we have to invest in NFTs. NFTs were just like clip art, you guys. Like, non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible. Doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. We really need to kind of, buckle down and reassess. I just need to buckle down and reassess. We need a reset, I think. I think we need to turn it all off, turn it back on, and just check for an update. I think we need to check for an update, and then we turn it back on, and then we reboot. We just take it from there. Because another thing I've seen online is the White House keeps posting out this picture of it coming soon in abundance to all of the other fucking shit that comes out of the White House Twitter account. But they keep posting out this image of like a UFC fight on the White House lawn. And now, it wasn't too long ago that it felt like a lot of people were complaining about the Ukrainian President Zelensky not wearing a suit inside the White House, but now we're going to be selling tickets to a UFC fight on the White House lawn. It is absolutely hell that we are living in, and that is true. Which makes me, this is kind of going to bring it all back together, the religious psychosis, the UFC fight, living in the hell. Depending on the release of this episode, because we do sort of try to do them in a little bit of advance, just in case something comes up. Showbiz talk, me going on. Yesterday, as of me recording this right now, yesterday was supposedly supposed to be the rapture, the rapture. And so, yes, like a lot of people aren't well, right? Like I said, a religious absolute psychosis. The Christian nationalists they were ready for the big one. And I am going to say, unfortunately, some of the most miserable bitches in the world they're still here, because the rapture didn't happen yesterday. It didn't happen, which really goes to show you that sometimes you win some and sometimes you don't lose anybody. And that is tough. It's a huge loss not to lose those people, because it's tough. You know, it is tough. I saw a video online of a girl being dropped off to school and her mom saying, "If I don't see you later, we'll meet in the clouds," which is bone chilling for a few things. One, when her mother thought it was supposedly the last day of the world, she said, "Well, I still got to get my girl to school. I got to get my girl to school. We'll meet in the clouds." And then she does follow it up with, "Or I'll see you at 2:30, which is so crazy, cuckoo nuts. I'll see you in the clouds, or I'll see you at 2:30. And that's how psychosis works, where you reason to yourself that I'll either be raptured, it's either the last of days, or I'll be in that carpool line picking you up at 2:30. Okay? You need to take a good look in the mirror, my love. You need to take a good look in the mirror. And if you're going, well, it's either the last day or I'll be in that minivan at 2:30, I think it's time to put down the juice and read a book, right? We should read a book. People don't want to read books. They absolutely do not want to read a book. And I get it. Books are long. They're hard. Reading isn't for everyone, and not everyone can do it. Kind of obvious at this point. Another thing I would like to talk about, let's move on a little bit. We're going to move on to like more social media sort of focused things that I've seen that I do want to bring to everyone's attention. The next thing I want to talk about is what I think is a recession indicator. We are headed towards one. Sorry. If this is the first time you're hearing of that, tough. It's tough. This is a recession indicator if I've ever seen one. And I'm going to explain to you what I saw. It's a post that I saw on Instagram. And I'm going to explain absolutely like every detail to you because we need to break it down. All right. Hoda Kotb, formerly of the Today Show. Love her. We love Hoda Kotb. Okay. She's going on a book tour. Great. Go Hoda. Let's get another book on that New York Times bestseller. I know she can do it. Now, I want to paint the picture of how this starts. She's going on a book tour. She's packing a bag. She wants us to see what she's packing. She wants us to see what bag she's packing with. Now, we need to paint the whole picture. She's in her bedroom. She's packing this bag on her bed. What is she wearing? Like I said, we're going to break down every single element of this video. What is she wearing? She's wearing jeans. She's wearing a t-shirt. She looks cute. She looks great. She's wearing AirPods. They're in upside down, completely twisted the wrong direction. Okay? She's wearing AirPods. Someone else is filming her. I don't know how that happened, right? I don't know if she was like, hey, get in here. We got to show me packing this suitcase. I'm not taking these out. I have the noise canceling on because I don't want to hear myself. I don't know. Real big. It's a big, like, I have headphones in right now. I'm putting them in. They're like, if you're watching this or you see a clip of this, the headphones are in like this. AirPods, though. It's not comfortable. And there is a person of a certain age who always puts the AirPods in upside down and they cannot figure out the schematics of their own earlobes. It is just like they're, like, I don't, it's not comfortable upside down. You know, like the noise part should go towards like the hole, right? You put the headphone into the ear and the noise part goes into the hole of your ear, not like the crooks and like like cracks and crannies of the ear, right? You avoid those. They go right in the hole. And if you did that, they'd work a lot better. Okay. So I want you to know, jeans, t-shirt, AirPods, upside down. Now, like I said, she is packing a bag to go on her book tour. This is Hoda Kotb. She is in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame, one of the most successful and beloved morning anchors of any morning news program ever of all time. I can't think of, in our modern day and age, somebody who is probably beloved by every single person, if not by every person, the majority of people in America. Okay. Incredibly successful woman. And kind. She's a great lady. Now, okay, we've gotten that out of the way. AirPods upside down, okay? She has this bag that she has out laying on the bed. It looks like a garment bag. I want to paint the entire picture for you. She says, I have a couple dresses and a suit in here. And now watch this. And she starts to try to zip it up. And she's zipping up the garment bag into like what now starts to turn into a duffel bag. So I know what this bag is supposed to do, because I've seen ads for a bag like this, if not this bag, something incredibly similar. Like, I know what this bag is supposed to do. She is fumbling with these zippers. It takes her, I don't know, roughly 25 minutes to kind of get the whole thing zipped up. And she goes, it's usually easier than this. You know, she's kind of like pulling things up and it's not really kind of going her way. She shakes her, like, to take a break from the real haul of not haul. What word am I trying to think of? The brute force that she's trying to give these zippers to kind of close the bag because she is having trouble with it. She takes a break to shake her wrist and she goes, bracelets. Thank you, Andy Cohen. Which I want to take a pause in this story. And I want to say, if you haven't ever, a personal treat I always give to myself is every once in a while, I'll YouTube Andy Cohen talking about Hoda Kotb's jewelry. It's quite funny. It's very good. So I don't know, because Hoda is known, at least to me, for always wearing at least 45 bracelets all at once. And they're always like some sort of like rubber Live Strong-esque sort of band. And then like lots of beads, a lot of beads, truly a lot of beads. And she loves it. And I think if she loves it, I love that for her. I wouldn't be wearing that. I personally am not going to be wearing that. But anyway, thank you, Andy Cohen, she says. And then she goes, I'm packing my Jen Miller earrings, my favorite. Okay, great. It's great. So now we get 2 shout outs. We get an Andy Cohen, we get a Jen Miller. I don't know Jen Miller earrings. They're her favorite. I trust her on this one. Okay. And it then goes back to that. We're trying to zip it. It's not as easy as they've made it look on like the Instagram infomercials, but she's really giving it a go. And she can't stop saying, as she's like fumbling and fiddling with the bag, you're not going to believe this bag. You're going to be saying, where has this bag been all my life? And then finally she gets it all together where it now looks like a duffel bag. And she's like, see? And then she starts to put in, more into the bag. She puts in some heels, some sneakers, workout clothes, and she really can. Like, I'm going to give it to her. She can get a lot into this bag. And she goes, I just love this bag because I need to bring it on book tour with me. And then this is where I get that like bone chilling feeling. I had it once at the top of the show. I'm getting it again right now. And this bone chilling feeling I'm thinking is, okay, we really are in a dark place if Hoda Kotb is having to carry on all of her stuff, right? She's going on a book tour. Hoda Kotb, one of the most successful broadcast television personalities of all time, is having to make sure she carries on that bag, which, I don't know what that means. Are they not footing the bill for the checked bag? I am a person who I firmly believe that if you can check a bag, you just should. And I know sometimes they get lost, but I don't want to be caught in the kerfuffle of like getting the bag down or getting on the plane like 1 second too late to put it up there. And then you're just like, I don't believe in it. I don't subscribe to it. I do subscribe to the Royal Caribbean email. That's another story. I just found out why. I will be unsubscribing from that as well because I don't subscribe to the putting the bag up. Sometimes you got to, right? Like if it's a 2-day trip, whatever. She's going on a book tour. She's going on a book tour. I think she should check a bag, okay? And she's I'll Venmo her the $50 for the bag. I know she loves the bag, but there's got to be a better way. And it just makes me think if Hoda Kotb is trying to cut some corners, we are really in for a big one. We're in for a big one. But even if we were in for a big one, I think there is one woman who would whip Hoda into shape and she'd say, no, honey, get the Rimmels out, get that away suitcase, the 4 wheels. Get them out, get that laying on the floor and start putting that stuff into that bag because enough is enough. Enough is enough. And that woman, I know that she would not stand for this, is Kathy Lee, right? We were maybe not completely, but a somewhat civilized nation when we had Kathy Lee on our television every morning, right? When we bring it all back to the religious psychosis, the people going crazy. Now, Kathy Lee, that's a God-fearing woman. And you know what she did before 9 a.m. every single day? She had a bottle of white wine on air. And she was not putting up with anybody's bullshit. And I think we need her back. We need a bit of kind of, she'd tell us like it is. And I am one to believe that I do think that she would tell Hoda to get real and start working on her book tour event and just get the 4-wheel suitcase out there. Like, let's bite the bullet. If you don't have any status on an airline, let's get the $50 cash together so we can just deal with this at the airport. We don't need to be carrying and lugging this bag around. The zippers, the performance of this bag. I mean, I understand how the bag can work, but I'm just telling you, like, this is Hoda Kotb. Hoda, like, let's get the 4-wheel suitcase. Anyway, we love the girl. We love her so much, which leads us right to why don't we take a break from my voice and why don't we get a voicemail? Now, this voicemail I am going to kind of preface with, now sometimes we do get some calls that are the wrong number. And if you've ever called the podcast hotline, which is 310-909-7117, you'll know that there is sort of like a voicemail that's like, hi, this is Adam and this is Intrusive Thoughts or something like that. So it's not sort of like you missed, this call or like the call didn't pick up. So there is a an alert to this not being like the right number, but still, nevertheless, she persisted. Okay. And so this call is, I don't think for us, but in a weird and like beautiful way, it still completely works for the show. So we are going to play it.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey, Miss Crystal, this is Keegan. I was just sitting at a red light and, it turned green and about 0.5 seconds later I heard that motherfucking horn. Miss Crystal, they use that goddamn horn on me and I don't know how much longer I can take. I want them banned and I want them stripped out of every fucking car right now. Have a good one, Miss Crystal. Love you bunches.
Have a good one, Miss Crystal. Love you bunches. Now, unless I don't know something, I am not Miss Crystal. But like I said, in a weird and beautiful way, I could be Miss Crystal in another life, right? Like I could be Miss Crystal. But to this caller who, listen, if you listen to the show, thank you for calling. I need a bit of background on Miss Crystal. I need to kind of know more about Miss Crystal, by the way. She seems like a real fun lady. And I think I might reach out to this person and be like, hey, this is the wrong number, but I need to know everything about Miss Crystal. Please text me. We are actually going to do that. I'm making a note. Text Keegan. Text Keegan about Miss Crystal. And we're going to tell Miss, your voicemail is on the, he doesn't need to know that. He'll start listening anyway. Keegan. So sitting at a green light, red light, what do you know? Honking the horn. We do need the horns out of every car. Except for mine, I do think. I do like using my horn every once in a while. I'll tell you, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. I'm sure I have. I have like an affinity for repeating myself, but why not? I'll do it again. I do love to honk the horn in a way to like surprise people. Hear me out. I like to do like a thank you. I want people, I want to use the horn for good and not always for bad. Right? If we have if we have a voice, we should use it for good. And sometimes it's like, hey, thanks for letting me do that. Or like, beep, beep, hey, we can go. We've been sitting at the green light for about 5 minutes. You can go. I'm not one to lay on the horn. I was at one time. I definitely was, like in my 20s. I was laying on the horn. I won't even lie about that. I could lie about a few things, but this is one of the things that I really shouldn't lie about because I would lay on the horn. I would. But I don't anymore. Now I kind of lightly tap it to say thank you. So I think the horn, there's a time and a place for the horn. Oh my God, wait. This is car related. The other day I saw a bad accident. Ooh, scary. It was scary. So how did it look? It looked bad. Like I said, it was like a bad accident. So it was like somebody was driving. They were trying to turn left. And then the cars like on the other side of the road that were driving through the green light, I guess didn't see each other. I don't really know, whatever. But they whacked, they spun. And I saw it all. I saw airbags out. Everybody was okay, by the way, which is why I feel completely comfortable to share this story that happened to strangers. Everyone was okay. They walked out of their cars, and the one who did the hitting said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," and was out of breath. So, how did it end? I don't know. Maybe it was Keegan. I don't think it was Keegan. But yeah, so I saw an accident. Ugh, really not fun. And also, I'll be honest, really not a good story. By the way, could have saved that one for another time. That was not the podcast. Anyway, be safe out there, you guys. Please drive safe. Please drive safe. Next. We have a text message. We actually have a few text messages. And on that note, I want to say one thing. We're killing it, everyone, with the text messages. Great work. We have a lot of texters out there, not a lot of voicemailers, which is, I think that's fine. I think it's actually fun. They're all fun. Keep them all coming. We love you. When I say we, I mean me, completely alone in this room by myself. And so we love you. It is just me. Now, also fun that we're starting to get some guests, right? We've had some good ones, and we have some really good ones coming up too. Not that not everyone before wasn't good. I'm like good, and now we have really good. Everybody's been really good. But yeah, I think it's going to be nice, like as we go on, to have a nice mix of guest and kind of complete mental breakdown, me alone in my room. But I do understand how it does get chaotic of just like me being in here. And yeah, would it be fun to have somebody here to kind of go back and forth with? It would be fun. And would it make for a better show? Possibly. Yeah, maybe. And maybe we'll get there. But for the time being, relax. Me telling myself, relax. Yeah. Ooh, wow, I am relaxed. It worked. It really worked. The manifestation worked. Okay, our first text message of the episode. Thank you so much for the talk with John Lovett. It's wonderful. These days, it is so great to hear sensible and reasonable conversation. Well, I'm so glad that we were able to bring some sense and reason. Also, I have an iPhone 13 that I will keep until it dies. It's perfect and it's all I need. Plus, I do not want wireless earbuds nor lithium batteries in close proximity to my brain for hours a day. No, thank you. I want to always be able to plug in my earphones into my phone. Wish you all the best, Lori. All right, Lori, I get it because we did talk about this earlier today. And I am going to ask you something. How are you putting those AirPods in? Are you putting them in? Go to the Hoda Kotb Instagram page and just kind of check on that video that I was saying. Is the long cylinder part facing to the ground, or is it facing up like an antenna? If it's facing up, it might be more of like a fitting issue than anything. But I want you to know that I am on your side in this debate of wired headphones versus the non-wired, also known as wireless. Because I don't know when and where I saw this, and maybe I'm making it up, right? That's completely possible that like I am just lying, but I don't think I am. I think I'm telling the truth when I'm saying what I'm about to say. And it's that I think somebody was saying online, this is how fake news gets started, by the way, where I think somebody was saying, right? Like that this is how we get to Tylenol is the reason for autism. Like, okay, I want you to know that, like, I know that, but I think that it's easier to like eavesdrop, like the technology to eavesdrop from a wireless situation is easier, if not much easier. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying, is it English to you? Because to me it is, and I'm understanding what I'm saying, but they can interfere the signal. How about that? And they can hear what's going on. Not that I'm ever having any sort of like conversation where I'm like, nobody should be hearing this. If anything, everything I say on this podcast is like, should anybody be hearing this? I think they should, right? It's important. A lot of it's important. Like I began this with like a grievance to a public company. Another company, by the way, Michael's Crafts, you guys. You need to just have things at the price that they are, right? Like stop charging like $50 for a piece of paper and then you go in and it's like the right price after you engage with so many sales. That's crazy work. I don't care. And I always get a coupon. You have $10 to use at Michael's today. I don't want to go there. I don't need paint or popsicle sticks. Like enough. Just give me the $10 off when I'm going there. I really don't. I don't like, I know it works sometimes. Sometimes it has worked on me. It's gotten me into the store. But like, it's a disgusting practice. Just be real. Ugh. Please get real. I say to my computer screen, alone again in my room. Alone again in my room. Yeah, I also have an iPhone 13 that just does sort of keep working and working. And the big thing is that I know that there's a lot of people out there who do want to switch away from the iPhone. I'm not one of those people. I don't fall into that camp or I don't fall into that methodology. Because I do like that everything just like syncs together. Like it just syncs together so beautifully. And I like that. And maybe eventually having Apple products will feel like a sort of like millennial/boomer sort of thing in the future. That is completely possible. I can see that happening. But I don't really care. I like that everything like it speaks to each other, right? In perfect harmony. We have community between my devices. To my devices, okay? I just like the sense of community that I just feel like on Android products isn't there, right? Like Apple products connect in a way that you connect with your parents and your siblings. Android products connect with each other in the way that you do to distant relatives. Like, you know they exist and you're kind of in communication infrequently, and sometimes you know what's going on and sometimes you don't know what's going on. And that's just how I feel about like the seamless connection of Android products. That it's not all the way there. And I know a lot of people do believe that like, okay, well, they don't believe it's true that like Android products, they'll come out with a lot of technology way before an Apple product will. And I always say to myself, I'm like, yeah, but like Apple just waits until they get all the bugs out, Android, and then they put it in the product. And they're like, yeah, but ours works. And maybe, and like, listen, maybe I am being sort of like a voice piece. Is that the terminology? Voice piece? We'll go with it. We'll kind of go with that. Maybe I am sort of speaking out and in favor of big tech. I know Tim Cook is really looking for this like unsponsored plea for everybody's please stay on your iPhone. And because it's not with like any sort of, yeah, I mean, like I have no Android products. I have actually Google Homes, which I love. Okay, I do love the Google Homes. But every once in a while, it doesn't, like sometimes they forget about each other and they're like, sorry, only one of us is going to be working today. You're like, what do you mean only one of you is working today? I have you all scattered throughout the house. I need to talk to the one in the bedroom right now. And they're like, sorry. I actually like talk to me later when I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, and I'll go on my phone. It's seeming like everything is connected properly. I'll wait a minute. I'll start talking to it. And it's like, hey, what do you need? Well, I needed you to not act like a precocious bitch and just tell me the weather. Right? So the Google Home is not, it's not without its flaws, but I do love it. And it's a good speaker. too. It's a good speaker. We have the Google like mesh Wi-Fi network, which is, it's hit or miss here. Okay. It's hit or miss, which makes me feel like we should go to another hit, which I think will be this text message, which I have put into a document that's in front of me so that I can read it. And it's long. And so I think that we're going to have a lot to unpack and uncover and talk about, and it will be fantastic. Okay. Now, here we go. Are you ready? Let's dig in. This is for Miss Crystal, everybody. For Miss Crystal. Love you bunches. Mwah, mwah, as Keegan said. We are going to, like I said, we're going to text Keegan and we're going to say, we need to tell us about Miss Crystal, everything that there is to know. This text message begins, "Hey, Adam. It's my birthday in 2 days, and I'm going out for dinner with some friends. We're going to be 12 people in total. I'm excited, and I love my birthday, but I've also been struggling a lot with social anxiety lately, and am pretty nervous despite being the one that invited everyone. My boyfriend keeps telling me that these are my friends, and they love me, and we enjoy spending time with each other, but my brain tries to convince me that they're all just being cordial, and they're coming simply to be polite and pleasant. Anyways, I would love to hear your general thoughts on this and on ways I can either combat this social anxiety or confirm I'm right that people are secretly laughing and mocking me in their heads. Thank you. Love the podcast." Also, now the listener is giving us some context. I recently moved, so the longest I've known any of these people is 1 year. They're all great people, but I'm the slow burn type. And with all my closest friends from home, I didn't come to terms with and accept the fact that they were in fact very good friends until at least 4 years. Would love to hear you voice your opinions on my, and they say in quotes, dilemma. Okay. Here's my like hot take. And I was waiting to read this because I wanted to give like a fresh reaction because I said, okay, the thumbs were busy writing this. The thumbs were busy texting, clicking, clacking to send this long message. I'm going to wait until we start recording the podcast. Again, it is just me in this room. But we sounds more professional, right? I mean, before this podcast will get posted, there will be multiple people who like multiple people. Okay. Like there's a few people, there's somebody who will edit it. Okay. So it's a group effort. Takes a village, even though the village is just 2 people. That's a village. Now, okay. Where do we begin? I need to get on track. I'm taking a deep breath. I do know that I have sometimes, again, intrusive thoughts. I have sometimes a bit of an issue staying on topic and on point, but not for this caller. This is what I'm going to say. My raw thoughts. Taking me about 4 minutes to get to answering the question, as I kind of promised I would. All right. This is what you need to hear. You are being unreasonable to yourself. That's it. That just is what it is. Okay? You're being unreasonable to yourself because if people are agreeing to go to this dinner that you invited them to, they want to be there. Okay? I am going to tell you that I believe, so 12 people in total, let's say your boyfriend and yourself with some friends are going to be 12 people in total. 12, so I'll say 10 people. I think you need to be real. We need to like break it down, right? Just like we broke down the Hoda Kotb trying to shove all of her things into a carry-on bag when I really think she shouldn't have any trouble checking a bag. That's just me. It is just me. Okay. But 10 people, I think that you are overestimating the lengths 10 people will go to have a laugh behind your back. Okay? I think we all do this, right? Like I'm not saying that you're special for this or that like you are extremely crazy for this, but I think this is just like something anxiety does to us. that I don't think 10 people are like in a group chat behind your back and are like, yeah, let's go to this dinner so that we can just fucking laugh. We can just make fun of this person because they're just fucking loser. Won't it be so fun if we go to a dinner and we pay for our own dinner and we waste our night? Because then we'll have some jokes that we can tell. Yeah, I think you can reason to yourself that that's most likely not happening. I'm not saying it's impossible, right? Actually, you know what? Let's just like dive in. This is what I like to do sometimes when I'm feeling like anxious about something. I like to dive into the worst fear instead of trying to reason myself like, you know, walk away from the edge of the cliff. Sometimes I'm like, no, let's jump off the cliff and let's just go right into the worst possible thing that can happen, right? So let's just say the worst possible thing that can happen is that you go to this dinner. There's 12 of you in total. And let's also imagine your boyfriend is like in on it. So there's 11 people who are there just to fucking roast you. And they don't like you. But you're having a good time, right? Now, you're having a good time. There's 11 people there that have taken time out of their own life to be there with you. Do you think that's true? Do you think 11 people who don't like you would get together to celebrate you? If I didn't like somebody, that would truly be, I would say, my worst nightmare to have to spend a birthday dinner with them. So I think when you dive into like the worst fear, because I think that this is a question not just about this birthday dinner. I think this is a question of, I mean, I've felt this way. And I think everybody's felt this way about a lot of different things. I always try to like, if there's something and I have to go by myself, which is like, happens pretty often, right? Like there'll be an event or something and it just won't work out where like I can't bring a friend with me or my husband's busy or just like something. And a lot of times I would be like, well, if I can't go by myself, I'm not going to go. And I think there's like a time and a place for that mentality, right? But for the most part, I'm like, if I was excited to go, I'll just still go. Why not? Because if I don't know anybody, okay, so I'll just, I'll tell somebody, hey, I like your necklace. Where'd you get your shirt? And then I'll just kind of strike up a conversation with somebody, right? What's the worst that can happen? They're not going to like me, and then I'll be there by myself? I already was there by myself. It'll be completely fine. So I always like to take these situations where I'm feeling like, actually, wait, back up a little bit. To be honest, every time I feel like this, or if I'm heading into a situation where like I'm not excited to go, it ends up being something that I have a lot of fun at. Maybe because I didn't set any expectations for it. Maybe, right? Because I just go, I have no expectations, I have a good time, it is what it is, right? Now, here's another thing for you to think about. Especially, like, this is something that you planned, right? So you need to not think about, like, other people. You can't control other people's thoughts. Like, other people have anxiety, and other people have more, and other people have less, and whatever. Because on the flip side of this, these people could go, well, they actually don't like me. And so they want me to go to this to make fun of me and have all of their friends make fun of me at their birthday dinner. Right? So you can't control what other people are thinking. Right? You're not in control of that. You'll never be in control of it. Let it go. So you need to think about yourself in these situations and like, what do you want and what do you want to do? Because again, your fear here is that people don't actually like you. Okay, and if they don't, if they don't like you, there's like two things you can do. One, you have to accept that, and two, you need to think like, am I doing something? Okay, and if I'm not doing something, then it's kind of on them, right? If I'm treating them not kindly, or if I'm doing something that would aggravate them, or if I was doing something to have people not like me. That's something that you can like address and become like a better friend or person. But if you aren't doing any of those things, then it's on them. Again, you can't control the way people think. even though you're having these anxieties about them because you're worried about what they think because you don't know, or they're saying it, but sometimes you think they're just saying it. So you need to let that go because you'll never know. You will absolutely never know the answer to this because your anxiety is telling you something different of like, yeah, they're saying it, but I don't know if they mean it. And that's just the way anxiety works. So we have to learn to live and reason with the anxiety. I have anxiety. I have a ton of, look at me. Have you listened to this podcast? This is the voice of anxiety, of complete and utter crippling anxiety. This is the voice. This is what it sounds like. This. Hello, it's me. Welcome back to Intrusive Thoughts. Yeah. Okay, this is the voice. I'm the poster child of anxiety. But you got to learn to work with it because it can be powerful to like work with it because it can help you be a bit delusional in these circumstances. So like, let's go back to what I'm saying of you can't control what other people are thinking. The only thing you can control is like, what do you want and how do you want to feel? And you can only focus on like the facts around you. And you're going to have to take at face value what people say, okay? You have to be very black and white with yourself when you have anxiety. You cannot overthink it. You have to be like a computer where the answer is like yes or no. There is no gray area. You have to just be very cut and dry. And what I mean is you asked someone to go to a dinner and you decided this, right? So you decided that you want to have a birthday dinner and you invited the people that you wanted there because you enjoy the company of these people. Okay. You can control that. Do you enjoy the company? You invited them. Great. That's a real good thing. Now, these people, they said yes. So that would mean yes, they want to be there. Do they really want to be there? You don't know that, right? And you don't know if they don't want to be there. That might not even have a reason to be with you. They might want to be at a baseball game. They might want to be at home playing The Sims. And it might have nothing to do with you. Or they might have something going on that day where they don't want to be there that day, but they had been excited for it. Do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So you can't even control if they want to be there in that moment. I'll say, like, there's times where I don't want to go somewhere and I go and then I start to like warm up to the event, right? I think we all do that. But again, you can only focus on yourself. You wanted them there. You asked them. They said yes. Those are the facts. You have to present yourself with the facts. Okay? You wanted them there. They said yes. Now stop thinking. Stop. Stop right now. Okay? This is when the anxiety wants to come in and it wants to start critiquing. Well, did they say yes? And this kind of, it doesn't matter how they said yes. It doesn't mean if they go, oh, yeah. Or if they were, yes, right? If they were like elated. It doesn't matter. A yes is a fucking yes. So stop. Stop thinking about it. And you start focusing on what do you want at this birthday dinner? How do you want to feel? Right? Are you going to pay for everybody's dinner? Are you going to surprise them? Do you want everybody to take care of your dinner? Are you expecting something? Or do you want people to bring presents? Like, what do you want out of this? And you can kind of, help that happen. You can help it happen of like, this is what you want. Of like, if you want everybody to kind of like take care of like your meal for you. Also, people can't read your mind. Like, that would be a nice thing to do. I think it's like a common courtesy of like, if you go out to a birthday dinner, you take care of the birthday person. I mean, a power move is, and they'll be talking about this for years, is if you invite everybody out to dinner and you take care of everybody. That's some money bag stuff, right? Think about that. I don't know our money situation. I'm just saying. Believe me, I don't think anybody's leaving that dinner complaining. Free dinner? I'm not putting that on you. What I'm saying is you've got sort of someone on the inside, the boyfriend, who can kind of take the lead on that and go, hey, I'm going to take care of my partner's dinner. Let's split this, bitch, right? You can figure that out. So if that's something you're like, oh, I'm disappointed that everybody thought I would pay for my own dinner. There are ways that you can completely avoid any sort of like disappointment or like, see, I knew I was right, like validating your own anxieties. That's what you just can't like fall into the habit of doing, is like like validating that, see, I knew I was right. Because you probably weren't. You probably were like looking for reasons to be wrong about feeling good about something. And why should you be wrong about feeling good? Why are we so afraid to feel good? Why is Hoda Kotb so afraid to check a bag? You know, these are just things that I will never know. Is it worth knowing? I don't know. And I know you said that it took you 4 years. It took you 4 years until you realized that the people around you were your good friends. I mean, that's okay. But listen, you got to live in the delusion of like, listen, everybody likes me until proven otherwise. Okay? It's, innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. So to deal with anxiety, always try to deal with it in that sort of way of like, okay, has anybody ever given me any reason, or is this just some sort of fear I have based on maybe past experiences, or just a fear that I have that seemingly is coming out of nowhere? So unless I am given any sort of like fact or reason, not sort of like insinuation is different, but unless I'm given a fact where I should believe otherwise, I think let it go. That's anxiety. Like I said, we got to work with this anxiety because it can be a superpower, because the anxiety can like help it's like this overpowering emotion. So you just got to use it. You got to be in communication with the anxiety. That's what I think. You can't push it to the side. Anxiety is like nerves. And I always think of this like, okay, when I was like a competitive athlete, I used to be really afraid of the nerves. And I'd feel nervous, and you'd imagine all of these like awful things happen of like, I worked so hard and now this isn't going to happen, or if I'm going to make all these mistakes when I go out there and perform, and like maybe, right? But anxiety and nerves, they bring a certain sense of like adrenaline to the body. And whenever I think of adrenaline, I always think adrenaline is that crazy thing that like overrides the whole body. And that's how a 5'2" mother can lift a car off a baby, right? Like she can't lift a 15-pound bag, but she sees a baby underneath a car and she can lift a 3,000-pound Toyota Corolla without a problem. That's adrenaline, babe. That's adrenaline. That's the power of adrenaline. So when I was competing, I'd say, okay, I can either crumble underneath this adrenaline, or I can lift a car off a baby, and I can do something that I wouldn't ever be able to do without this adrenaline. And, this is not the same. Lifting a car off a baby is not the same as going out to dinner with, 12 people in total. I'd say it's easier, right? To just use that adrenaline for good. I hope any of that made sense. To me, it did. But I'll also tell you that sometimes when I hear myself talk, I'm not listening. I can't hear myself. I can literally hear myself. I'm wearing headphones, but I'm not listening. Sometimes the words just come out. And I'll tell you, that's the struggle of doing a solo show. It's also the beauty of doing a solo show. That you come out here, I'm like Michigan J Frog. Hello, my darling. Hello. And then they take the cane, they pull me out, they go, come on, get it together. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I do not. It's all right, though, right? And actually, I have one more point before I was like, and like, let's end the show. Let's not end the show. Let's just go on for a few more minutes. I want you to know that I had anxiety, believe it or not. I had anxiety once. Good night. It's over. Like the show's over. No. I had anxiety about starting this podcast. And you're probably sitting there going, how? It's perfect. Never boring, right? It's never boring. Because sometimes we have good guests and sometimes we have really good guests, right? As I mentioned before. But I was a little, I was anxious about starting it because I didn't know how to get it started. And I just started it by myself. And I was like, you know what? Let's just get going. If it's bad, who cares, right? I at least tried and I can stop talking about it. And so that's just like one of those things where it's like you talk yourself out of the anxiety and it's just, and this wasn't bad. This is good so far. I think this podcast is good. These text messages are good. We're finding a real rhythm, you guys. I'm saying it. We've been doing it for almost a year. Is that true? I don't know. It's not true. We took a long break when we moved over to Podcast One. Hey, everyone at Podcast One. We love you guys. But yeah, the anxiety is normal. Another thing with anxiety, I always say, you're not special. Everybody's got it. Sorry. I know. And it's just you got to reason with that. Okay. And I hope you have a great birthday dinner. Send us another text. I'd love to follow up on this 12 in total birthday dinner. I'm sure it's going to be great. And if they are talking behind your back, would really love to dig into how all the advice I gave was wrong and you were correct. So I think that would also be, I think this is a win-win, at least for me. It will be great content for the show. So I do hope that you're wrong and that everyone is there to have a great time. But if it's, if they are conspiring against you, kind of let me know that. And we'll do a whole sort of segment. We'll break it down in a way that I've only broken down Hoda Kotb packing a carry-on bag before, okay? And on that note, thank you all for listening to Intrusive Thoughts. Thank you for sticking by me and with me through all these 1 year. Not even been a few months, right? We took a few months off. But through all these weeks, thank you for sticking by me. We would love to hear from you. Again, it's a village of people. We would love to hear from you. So please leave a text message or call the podcast hotline. That number is 310-909-7117. We had a caller once say, hey, I don't always have a pen and paper with me to write down that number. Pretty genius suggestion. If you go to my Instagram page, you can find the number up in the bio. All you hit is you can hit call up in the bio. It will go right to the number, which is truly like technology at its finest. But if you do have a pen and paper, that number again, 310-909-7117, famously the number of the podcast, not of Miss Crystal. I will be texting Keegan. Hopefully we'll be getting an update sometime soon. Maybe we'll even have it on an episode shortly. But yes, again, you can find that number in the link tree in my Instagram bio, and wherever you look at Instagram bios. Please leave a 5-star review for this podcast. Everyone who has done that, you're doing the Lord's work. And when the rapture does come, I'll meet you in the clouds. All right? I'll meet you in the clouds, or I'll meet you at 2:30. I'm writing that down. That is going to become kind of canon with the podcast. I'll meet you in the clouds, or I'll meet you at 2:30. That's actually a brilliant way to end the show. I can't wait until I have like a guest on and I'm like, all right, we'll meet you in the clouds, or I'll meet you at 2:30. And they're like, please get me the hell out of this Beverly Hills office. Writing that down. I just scribbled. It's okay. But yeah. We love you. 5-star review. Now remember your homework. 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts, and you're going to text or leave a voicemail to the podcast hotline. Again, you can find that number in my Instagram bio or in the link tree that's also in my Instagram bio. Instagram. Just wanted to say that a few more times. Throw that out there. Also, wait, before we go, TikTok, U.S. government taking it over. We got to talk about that. Okay. I'm right. That's for another show. I'm going to get somebody's opinion on that. But truly, I am going to sign off now. I've been rambling. I've been rumbling. And now I'm ending the show for today. We'll be back. Love you. And I will see you next time here on Intrusive Thoughts. Bye, everybody.